Hi, my name is Catherine Novak, and I am from the Tuesday 8 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. class. In recent years, the United States democracy has begun to be overrun by debates of conflicting political views in an attempt to achieve power instead of engage in responsibilities of government. Many of the early and current events that revolve around government involve voting, taxation, and immigration. Democracies typically consist of a Democratic Party and a Republican Party. These two parties often have very opposing views on what the role of government is and how much power one should maintain. Each party has its own opinions on what regulations of controversial topics should exist. After completing U.S. history and political science classes, as well as researching functions of government, I feel confident to defend its formal roles. The power of the United States government shapes every U.S. resident by helping to fund education, healthcare, and programs that influence most people. Instead of getting caught up in politics, government should manage the economy, support underprivileged individuals when necessary, and protect civil liberties, as well as provide national security by maintaining social peace and order. Government, as defined by the Student's Dictionary, is the offices, people, and agencies that control a nation, state, or city by making laws and seeing that they are followed. In an Illustrate to Educate video on YouTube, Dan Zimmerman explained that the Democratic Party believes in a strong government with a progressive approach to helping citizens, while the Republican Party promotes a limited, less controlling government that allows citizens to have their own rights to choose. The Democratic Party believes in the idea of the higher the income, the higher the taxation. They support federally funded health care. Republicans support capitalism and entrepreneurship and vote to cut all taxation whenever possible. Members of the Republican Party also vote to keep healthcare private so that everyone has their own right to choose their healthcare provider. Democrats typically support policies that monitor and restrict gun control and say nuclear weapon production needs to stop. As expected, they generally support same-sex marriage and are pro-choice when it comes to abortion, holding the belief that a woman should have the right to choose what happens with her own body. At the same time, Republicans as a whole want to limit the amount of gun control orders and strongly exercise their Second Amendment right. They often support the constitutional amendment to oppose same-sex marriage and generally fall on the pro-life side of the abortion spectrum, promoting adoption over abortion if an individual is unable to care for a life they created. While Republicans promote strict restrictions and support the idea of closed or tight borders, Democrats want less restrictions on immigration. The two parties soak up too much time arguing about these topics instead of worrying about the actual responsibilities of government. In order to avoid initiating political debates, a government should first preserve order, because as Thomas Hobbes said, maintaining social peace is perhaps the fundamental purpose of government. Secondly, governments should defend against external enemies and protect society from outside aggression. Third, not all governments manage economic conditions successfully, although it is a function that modern democracies assume. Fourth, according to a source from the Dallas County Community College District, governments should redistribute income and resources, meaning that governments in economically fortunate countries reallocate money from wealthier individuals or families to underprivileged households, as well as resources from young to old, disabled, and socially challenged. These governments provide subsidized housing, food, and healthcare to citizens in need. Looking at the functions of government, this is how this source views it. Instead, assistance should only be provided to individuals who absolutely need it until they are well off enough to no longer require assistance. Providing assistance with a deadline encourages individuals to get back on their feet, so to speak. The fifth role of government includes providing collective public goods that private markets typically can only provide in an unfair or inefficient way, or not at all. Collective public goods are resources that are best provided by the government, but citizens often disagree on what those goods are or should be. Some examples could include affordable health care, highway systems, public transportation, mail services, and garbage pickup. The sixth role of government is providing or preventing externalities, which can be positive or negative indirect costs or benefits that are produced by an activity which impacts society. Externalities can be physical, psychological, or aesthetic and affect those who do not directly participate or benefit in an activity. Examples of negative externalities could be air pollution or a contaminated water supply. On the other hand, education is a positive externality because a society can benefit from a more educated population. Local, state, and national parks, museums, and public-private partnerships that build sports arenas are all externalities. Finally, governments should protect civil liberties and provide national security. In this post-9/11 world, they are responsible for securing the safety of citizens without infringing on individual rights like freedom of speech and freedom of unreasonable search and seizure. Overall, the United States government does a decent job at maintaining their primary responsibilities. However, in order to gain a better reputation for our nation, members of all government branches should stop involving themselves in political debates and instead focus their energy on ensuring that the economy is managed, underprivileged citizens are supported when necessary, and civil liberties are protected. In this post-9/11 world, they should provide national security by maintaining social peace and order. Our nation would be overall more successful and respected if all of these roles were maintained.